Hi, I want to say God bless you and thank you for listening and thank you for being encouraged. And I want to say God bless you. God bless you in this new year. And thank God that, we made it to a new transition, to a new year, a year of confidence in the Lord. Like my pastor said, it's an odd year, and I believe in greatness, and I believe that God is going to show himself this year as always, and that he is going to be magnified and glorified, because that's who he is. That's the kind of God we serve, a God that do not share his glory with no other. And I wanted to share something though. I wanted to share the reading of Exodus. I wanted to read a partial reading of Exodus 14. And this is where the Israelites was about to cross over, and they had the Red Sea and the Egyptian behind them. And I'm not gonna read the whole chapter of it because it is a very long chapter, but I'm gonna read it as an encouragement. Exodus 14 and verse 13 said, "And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will shew you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace." And I'm going to skip over. And this is verse 18 of Exodus 14. It said, "And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen." And I love this too. And I'm going to keep on from verse 19. "And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud and darkness to them. But it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptian pursued and went after them." And this is verse 23. "After them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily. So that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength. When the morning appeared, and the Egyptian fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptian in the midst of the sea, and the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh, that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them in their right hand and in their left." And I'm going to read the last one, which is verse 30 of Exodus 14. "Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians. And the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses." And this is powerful for the transition we're in now in the natural as well, where, this crossover had already taken place, us crossing from 2022 to 2023. And we know that part of the story. The Egyptian chased Israel, and then it's ironic. You see, they had the two enemies. They had an obstacle in front of them. They had the sea in front of them, and they had the Egyptian, their enemies, behind them. And I like the word when it says that Moses told the Israel, "The Egyptian you see shall be no more," and that's putting his faith and confidence in the Lord. And you see how this is manifest in our natural too, where we may have our Egyptians in our life. Well, the Egyptian of 2022, where, a lot of us faced a lot of things, a lot of us being exposed, and people attention's been exposed to, whether it be from family, from neighbors, whatever it may be. But God exposed them to us. And, we've been in a situation where, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And this is what the Egyptian in the sea symbolized to me. And we have to always trust God, because I've seen God done it last year for me. And I could testify of his goodness, that when I was going through the eviction, I didn't have no one to count on but him. He exposed what I was not seeing. And, he made way out of no way. And it proved to me when God answers prayer, and he caused a delay in the eviction with the other landlord that that was under when I was doing the rent. But I was like, you know what? With all this going on, it made me realize that he's always going to be there for me. He's my help. He's my sustainer. He's my all in all. Man is nothing to me. I don't fear man. It came to a point in my life that I don't fear the world system. And it's, and man, I'm sorry, not the landlord, not my boss, because God proved himself to me. God proved himself to me over and over. The fact that I'm able to wake up, that the world is his, the earth is his. And I always quote this verse. I started quoting this verse, Psalms 24, verse 1 and 2. It makes me realize that the earth is truly the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Because, he's the one who founded it upon the sea and established it upon the floods. And it says in the word as well, that heaven is his throne, that heaven is his throne and earth is his footstool. And that everything that's on earth, if earth is his footstool, everything is under his command, under his control. Yes, we go through hard times. And let me tell you that even till now, yes, it's been a hard time, but I'm trusting him and I'm believing that something great is coming my way and something great is coming your way. It's just that be mindful, be sober in this season, in this year, be vigilant. And do not cast, and I read Matthew 7:2 as well, that, do not give what is holy to the dogs. And do not cast your pearls onto swine where they can trample it. Meaning that do not give what is precious where, do not sacrifice. Do not give away. Do not, turn away. Do not fall away from the word of God. Do not fall away from God. Do not backslide. Do not give up. Because something good is about to happen. And I believe your latter day is here. It's coming. It's going to come swiftly. Because we serve a God of, a speed, of exceedingly. His time may not be our time, but he's always on time. And God may be dealing with you with your patience, with long suffering. I know he's doing that with me. But I'm trusting the process. Because in the process, that's where you're being groomed. That's where you're being purged, and that's where everything is going to come into alignment, and that's where everything is going to be revealed to you about yourself, about who God is to you. So I want to say this: do not cast your confidence away. Do not be fearful. Do not be doubtful, because as you're speaking, I'm speaking to my spirit as well. As I'm sorry, I say as you speak, I'm sorry about, as I'm speaking, as I'm listening as well, I'm sorry about that. I'm speaking to my spirit as well, that I'm giving myself encouragement, because David encouraged himself in his situation where he lost everything, his wives, his, from the enemy, but God restored all back to David. And, he is a restorer, and he's going to restore your hope. He's going to restore your joy, whatever you need. Wherever he said, because his word will not come back to him void, because he is a covenant keeping God. All that this year is coming to pass. And I believe that for you, for myself, for my son, that everything that, that I believe in God for, even for my son's life, that he's going to minister the word of God to his generation, that it shall come to pass, that God will not let us be ashamed. because we are his children. We are the saints. So I just want to encourage you and just stay encouraged, inspired, and walk by faith. And faith without works is dead. Because you have to put in the work for that God, that God knows that you're serious and that you trust in him. And seek ye first his kingdom and all his righteousness. So I want to say God bless you and thank you for listening. And I also want to say a happy, blessed new year. And let this year be a year of favor in your behalf. A year of, of the unexpected in a good way. And I want to say I love you and thank you for listening.